Hey everybody, CT Hippo here. So, it's time to get out and do the first operational test of the new underwater camera. And largely just to do something different, I decided to come out here to Reed Lake. I've only paddled on this lake once or twice. One thing I'm discovering is that I don't think it's more than about 3 feet deep anywhere, which is not going to be the best test of the camera, but you know, you work with what you got. It should either work or not work, kind of either way. For, I don't know if anybody's interested, but off to the left here, it's really a peninsula, but anyway, piece of land is technically called Treasure Island and shows up as a place on Google Earth, which is kind of funny because, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with how Google Earth works, but it uses your phone's location to determine where you've been and then asks you questions about those places, and that's how it populates the data. And I think I was sitting on the pot somewhere today and answering questions on Google Earth because I was basically bored out of my mind. One of the places that popped up was Treasure Island here. And it's, you know, some of it was kind of funny. It was, you know, stuff like, does it have outdoor grilling areas? Does it have a kids' playground? And one of them was like, is this a good place for yoga? It's like, you're fucking asking me? What would I know about whether this is a good place for yoga? I don't know, random things that it asks. Anyway, kind of paddling up the length of Reed Lake here, trying to see if I can find some place that's deep enough to be worth dropping this camera in the water. And you're kind of along for the ride. So here we go. So here we are in what passes for the middle of Reed Lake. Don't know how deep the water is, but it's at least 6 feet because I can bury my paddle and not hit bottom. It's kind of drifting around. As you can see, this is a very urban lake. It's really basically a dammed up creek. But hey, you know, it's all in the marketing. So, let's give this thing a shot. I've got the new camera right there in the camera rig. I'll do a video about that maybe tonight. I'm going to start the GoPro, which will give me some comparison data. Beep, beep, beep. Camera mode, yep. Oh, great, looks like the batteries might be dead. Well, it'll work or it won't. Okay. And bust out the viewing screen for the new underwater camera here. I did try this a little bit earlier, just to turn the camera on in daylight, and it was significantly easier to see than the old one, so that is a good sign, since that was one of the biggest issues with the previous underwater camera, was trying to see that stupid little 4-inch screen. Cable connections. There's a lot of them here. Yellow to yellow, red to red. And we have 2 sets of black connections. Power and camera DC. And we're going to turn it on. Oh, well, lights come on. There's the splash screen. We have signal. Okay. Alright. So, everything seems to be running. Drop this puppy over the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this up real quick and just to sync up the videos so that I can tell what's what. Once we get it done. So, yeah, there's upright. Hey everybody. Alright, going back over the side. Okay, I have bottom. I don't know that I'm seeing much, but I have bottom. A little bit of wind here should hopefully push me around and allow me to create the illusion of movement. I'm going to try it here without the light. See if that affects things much. If you remember from my unboxing video, the light on this thing is its own wire. I think it's really dark in a hurry. So there's light off. Can't really see anything. Light on. Still not sure I can see much. So that may be a difference with this camera. It may be a case of it trades lower resolution or lower image quality for I don't know where I was going with this. Anyway, it may have a lower light gathering capacity than the old one did. I'm not really sure. So yeah, so far I don't really know what to tell you. Screen's definitely easier to read, easier to see, however you want to say that. But I feel like the camera quality, image quality from the camera might be worse than the old one. Just kind of hard to tell at this point. Hey everybody, me again. So, try something a little different here. I've turned off the light and the wind's come up a little bit. So we're now drifting slowly downwind, which would be vaguely easterly, with the light off on the camera, and just kind of towing along the bottom. Definitely get a different, and I would say probably somewhat better view with the light off. I think that issue I was having where the useful area that I could see was some combination of the brightness of the light and the auto iris on the camera. With it off, I can see the bottom from higher up. So I think the camera's irising open, collecting more light, and so I'm getting better results here. Right now I have no idea how fast we're traveling. We're just drifting along, and I can kind of watch the bottom here and see where we're at. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's not a very interesting bottom. You know, unlike, I don't know, I was going to say some movie star who's got a nice ass or something, but yeah, I think they just killed the joke, so whatever. Anyway, it's kind of a learning process, which shouldn't come as any real surprise. Every one of these cameras works a little bit differently, and yeah. One upcoming thing that you're going to see here before too much longer, I hope, maybe next weekend I'll get around to it, is I want to take the Achilles out and hook up the fish finder, the Garmin Striker, and then drop the underwater camera over the side at the same time and just let the current carry me along so you can see in near real time what the fish finder's seeing versus what the underwater camera sees, and so get an idea of just how those two go together. And hopefully that will be a rather interesting video. I'm not at all sure this one's going to be very interesting, but so far I'm fairly impressed with this camera. The screen is certainly easier to see. Need to do something with mounting it to the boat because I doubt it's waterproof, but you know, first world problems and all that. Anyway, been out here half an hour. I think I'll fish it in and head home. See you next time.